Today's video is going to be on the demon list, but not actually for any top 1 levels currently. I know that's all I've really been talking about recently, but today I actually will talk about something that the demon list just announced in their Discord server that is really intriguing. So I already recorded this and my OBS didn't pick up my microphone at all, so I'm just gonna repeat this whole video. But basically, recently, the demon list announced that the rated plus tab for the demon list may come back. They're looking into the idea of revisiting it, and they've recently made a Google form for people to submit whether they'd want it back and in what form they would want it back in. Now, a little history update. This was an idea that the Demon List had had for a while, and they were actually working on implementing the Rated Plus tab before, back when click between frames was not allowed and RobTop didn't add his own version of it. But then obviously, following RobTop's implementation of click between steps, they decided to retire their plans on it. That is because back then the Rated Plus tab's goal was to allow CBF verified levels onto the list. That was kind of the idea they had, because obviously back then a lot of people could submit records on levels with click between frames and get them accepted on the demon list, which was really cool. However, if someone was to verify a level with click between frames, then, well, they wouldn't be allowed to, pretty much, because RobTop would refuse to rate that level. And so it kind of gave an unfair disadvantage to the verifier, because if they wanted that level on the list, they would have to play without CBF, and everyone else can play with it, which a lot of people disagreed with, and that's kind of why we got the CBF blockers in Nullscapes and Coral Cave and all these other levels. Obviously, there was the aspect of people thinking it was cheating, but another reason was because it just kind of felt unfair for the verifier. But obviously, since RobTop added his own version, and now he accepts records with CBF on levels, like he allowed for actually Wave Trials to get rated when that was verified with CBF, so pretty much it wasn't an issue, and so the Demon List retired it. However, they're revisiting the idea because if you really think about it, there's more reasons to have it than just that. And that's actually why a lot of people for the past couple months have been vouching for the Demon List to still implement it. Because one thing to keep in mind is that rated levels get so much more attention than unrated levels. And since the Point of Crate Demon List is the main way that people find out about hard levels, it means that, well, if you're not on that list, then you're not going to get much recognition, and your achievement isn't going to be seen as valid in the community's eyes. And so these unrated levels just get unfairly disregarded by the community. Like, this level, I didn't actually cover it in a video, but I could have at the time. This is a Cherry Team level, Les Apollo, and it looks really cool. It's a really cool theme. Some people don't like it. There's kind of mixed reception on it, but I think it's really cool. It's one of Cherry Team's better levels, and yeah, this got verified, and it's unrated, so no one cares for it. The same for the bloop. I mean, obviously not to the same extent because, you know, it's a Zoink verification. But this is definitely a rate-worthy level, and it's just, like, kind of going to be forgotten about because, you know, it wasn't placed on the list. Same for Mechanical Chains, which is a really cool old level. And same for, like, Master Puppets. This one is actually super cool. If you look at this looks rate-worthy, right? Like, this level looks super cool. However, no one knows about it because it was just verified and not rated, and so it didn't place in the Demon List, so no one saw it. And there's so many levels like this, and these are just really impressive achievements, but they just get forgotten about. No one cares about them because they're not rated. And so having this rated plus tab, which is going to be an extra little bit here, which will actually highlight these levels, is just really cool. I think that is going to be an amazing change if it's actually implemented. Now here is a screenshot of what the form looks like if you want to go submit your response to it. There is a question saying, should both rated and unrated levels be eligible for the Demon List? There's one saying how you would like unrated levels to be implemented. And if you want a separate Rated Plus tab, would you actively follow the Rated Plus tab rather than the original tab? And I think this is really interesting because not only is this supporting the idea of them asking if we want a Rated Plus tab, but it's also hinting at the idea that they would be fine with allowing unrated levels on to the main demon list if enough support is backed up for it, which is really interesting. Personally, I don't think that should be the case, because I think there is some parts of the rated tab plus list that's a bit controversial, like how is the standards for what gets on it and not going to be eligible, and does it kind of completely nullify RobTop's rating system? However, I think that you guys should choose what you want. I think that these are both incredibly valid options, and while I would prefer for an unrated levels tab a rated plus tab, I'm still completely fine with this happening. Like, I would really like to see that any of these two happen. But there's also an option here for cosmetic unrated levels, which is another interesting choice. And I would assume this would mean that if you beat the levels, it's shown on your profile, it's shown on the Victors tab, but they don't actually give any points for it, and there's no leaderboard for it. But yeah, these are three completely valid options, and no matter what happens, if any form of these get added to the list, then again, super massive win for unrated levels. Now, I would like to just kind of talk about how the Demon List said they are revisiting the idea, okay? The idea. So even if the majority of us agree on one thing that they should add, if we agree that it should be a rated tab plus, if most people vote for that, it still could not be implemented. They're just like looking at the idea, they're trying to gather how many people actually care for this being happening and if it would be a good idea, even though it has less of a need due to CBF being implemented. But yeah, I still think I want to highlight this and tell you all that this is happening because I think it is a really interesting thing, and the Demon List is the most popular website for GD probably. It's like the main thing for hard levels. So obviously any major change like this is very important. It's GD history pretty much. And you know, while we're at it, I just want to highlight this website, the Unrated Demon List. You can just search the name up. I don't have to link it in the description. It will come up first. Because I think that until this gets added, you guys should really check this out if you haven't already. There is so many really, really cool levels on here, verified by people you probably know. Jesse Gaming recently beat Tidal Wave, of course, and some of these levels are just super really cool. It includes every unrated level, no matter the quality, if it's hard enough. Of course, like the stuff that you probably already know, like old Orochi, all these impossible levels that are getting verified aren't list worthy. However, you can find some absolute hidden gems in here that are really cool. A lot of the Lord Vadercraft ones, like Atarsis, they're really interesting, and you'll see a lot more kind of abstract feeling levels, a lot more levels that don't really fit the normal rate standards will be here, and I think you guys should just take a look, because a lot of these are super interesting, and I would love for them to get more recognition. Before I go, I do want to announce I am live streaming Subnautica 2 on my second channel with the Blue Elephant and others. If you're interested in that, that should be happening 8 p.m. BST. Translate that to whatever time zone you have, but in a couple hours there should be a premiere for it anyways. That's really all I have to say, not much. Thanks for watching. Peace.